Gonna take a spin on the wheel?
Spin on the wheel.
Powdaze! Oh, this will be fun.
This is going to be a good one.
You're an engineer.
Yeah, well, not anymore. I was. Yeah.
You built snowboards.
Yep.
You've ridden snowboards.
A few.
How do you feel about the Powdaze? And just so people understand, this is a slip-on tip cover to turn your regular twin tip into a powder board. It slides on, and basically you slip the nose up through, and then it extends it, and it adds taper, which is really weird because it doesn't fully match the side cut.
No.
But it will mount onto any board, so they claim up to X width, and it will suddenly turn your twin tip into a powder board. I don't know. I've got a few powder twins. I'm okay.
I used to ride at 165 pounds when I was working at Signal because I had muscle. A 151 Signal OG was my pow deck. And you know what? It worked. And that's freaking tiny. Why? No one needs this. All snowboards float. We've mentioned that a couple times already in this podcast this month. All snowboards float. Why?
Except the whip.
But yeah. Can't float on the whip. Or dual boards, really, but I wouldn't call those snowboards. So
They're sideways monoskis.
Sideways monoskis.
Or sideways ski blades.
Yeah.
Sideways ski blades, that's what I meant.
Yeah, sideways monoski. That's an alpine board.
That's an alpine board.
Yeah. Like, I can hardly even think of terrible things to say about this. Is how bad this is. Like, you're slipping this thing on there that now you have catch points if you're going to try and ride switch.
No, in their videos, someone rides switch.
I know, I saw, but it
well.
looked a little sketchy. And let's be honest, like, you're slipping something on top of your snowboard. It has to be wider than your snowboard for that to work.
So you create a shelf right there, like a step on your side cut. So
switch is going to feel terrible. And you maybe be able to actually ride switch, but it's not going to feel good. And then he says that there's metal edges on it up top, and that it matches your side cut. I don't know if he's aware, but most snowboards don't have the same side cut. Every snowboard has a different side cut. So, which one did you match it to? Because I guess that's the only board that it's actually going to match to. Because side cuts are all different. So, your turns are going to feel like shit. Your initiation is going to be terrible because the front part of your side cut is just going to have this weird abrupt change from the dumb thing that you put on top of your board into the actual snowboard.
Where are you going with this?
That's it. Like, the fact that he's trying to claim that there is a real side cut on this thing that flows into the board. No, there's not. It's a terrible idea. It's not a good design. And you're bolting it on top of your board. So now your feet are uneven. So now you have your back foot is lower than your front foot. So causing pressure in your knees, on your hips, on your back, because now you're not standing level on top of your board. And on top of that, now you've added a bunch of weight to the front of your board.
Well, the thing that I looked at was like, because your nose, your board kicks up underneath it, so you basically got two noses going in there. So you have this area where if you slam into something, it's probably just going to break.
Right.
Like the structural integrity.
Oh, yeah, and on top of that, you have a higher chance of just breaking your board because this thing is on there.
Yeah. You know what the weird thing was? They were asking for $32,555. They got $24,433. Do you know what I could do with that money? Jeez. I could hire a full-time editor.
Yeah.
It blows my mind that people thought this was a good idea. And I just remember looking at it going, you ride this in POW in the trees, and you hit a tree, it's going to break.
Yeah, it's going to blow up.
You're going to have just too many flex points and crumple zones that it's just going to crack and snap. On top of the fact, like we've mentioned, all snowboards can ride POW. And then it just, no. Like, and their whole thing is like, oh, it's tough to take two snowboards with you on vacation. I've literally flown out of the Reno airport with 15 snowboards in a board bag.
Yeah.
And yes, it was definitely over their allotted weight limit. So you know what you do? You put your backpack down, and when you put your board bag on the scale, you rest your backpack underneath it to release most of the weight. you can trick their scale and they will not catch it, so you do not pay. But taking 2 snowboards is roughly 12 pounds. Roughly 12 pounds. 1 pair of bindings, because let's be honest, if you're going on vacation, you're not just going to be like, oh, I'm going to just chain up my powboard out here and go up and ride the park for a couple laps, or vice versa.
Right.
It's not. And
even if you wanted to have 2 sets of bindings, you can still get, like, I got a board bag in my closet right now that has like 9 snowboards and I think 5 pairs of bindings in it. You can get a bunch of stuff in a board bag. Right. What do you mean it's hard to take 2 boards? It's actually very easy.
They're also trying to be like, you don't know what kind of boards you're going to need for the conditions. I'll be honest with you. At this point, if I travel somewhere in my one everyday snowboard, which my everyday snowboard, I can ride anything on it. Yeah. It might not be the best at powder. It might not be the best at groomers. It's a jack of all trades. Swiss Army knife board. I can literally ride that on anything. But they're trying to say, I mean, the one thing that they had going for them was they kept the price at $150 or less. I think it was like $149.
They at least got the price right. And I would say the other piece is that he was riding the Sketchy Tank Ride Burnout. At least that's a good board.
Oh.
But that doesn't really help the product at all.
No, it doesn't.
No.
I mean, well, it was current product at least. The other thing is when it slips on, you're going to have a rise in that front foot, which is going to throw off your asymmetry in your anatomy. So you're going to have a leg that's pushed up higher, which is going to put more stress on that hip joint.
Not to mention, at that point, you're now effectively, to keep things level, you're actually pushing the front of your board down.
I mean, granted, they're trying to make it for a Powdaze, but let's be honest. You're not riding bottomless pow on a Powdaze. At some point, you're cutting a cat track. You're cutting a groomer. Like, I wish I could. I would love to be able to be like, I rode top to bottom pow and it was untouched the whole way. That's just not how it fucking happens.
No,
it's not. It's not like we're at Bald Faced. It's not like we're heli skiing, heli riding, doing any of that. It's not like we're at Silverton. We're getting off chairlifts. I like riding flying couches. Okay, I'm lazy. I don't like. And the other thing is like, oh, you could take it in the backcountry. I was like, why don't you just get a fucking split board?
Yeah, like if you're gonna go into the backcountry, get a backcountry setup, maybe. Like,
what? Didn't this thing also win an award at ISPO?
Oh God, I hope not.
I think it was for innovation. And that just tells me it's like these people just don't understand what innovation really is. There's no added actual benefit to any snowboarder with this.
No.
I was looking for reviews, and the only ones I could find were from the Aussies on snowboard.com, the new version of snowboard.com. And they hadn't even written it. They were just hyping it up. And I was like, you got a free product.
Yeah,
they
got
it was good.
Free ones or something.
I was just like, son of a bitch. Like, this is awful.
I
don't.
Just slam your bindings back.
Yeah, exactly. Literally.
And the other big thing for me, as far as making things float in deep snow, I think sinking your tail is almost more important than floating your nose. Because if you can get your tail to sink, that's naturally going to push your nose up.
Yeah.
So, again, slam your bindings back, shrink your tail, you lengthen your nose, boom, done.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you need this thing for? Because slamming your bindings back, that's free.
It's true. I mean, literally, if you're going to buy one snowboard, I think it should be a directional twin.
Yeah, agreed. Because then you can ride everywhere.
You can ride everywhere. You can ride park. You can ride a groomer. You can ride power.
Or this new pseudo wave of like non-symmetrical twins.
Non-symmetrical, which I own one.
Yeah,
Ooh.
I own one.
What do you have? You've got the Zoya.
I've got the, well, I guess it's a non-symmetrical directional twin. I have Kilroy.
Oh, that's right. You got the Killer. I've got a Brewster.
Yeah, you got a Brewster. I got
Span.
a Kilroy. I've got the Clovis.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like those.
The Z-twin.
Z-twin, yep.
The non-symmetrical
big nose twins.
Twins, yeah.
Ride one of those if you're really concerned about having a board that's rides like a pow deck and it can also hit park.
Yeah, because that way contact point to contact point's a twin, and then you just got a longer nose, smaller tail. Like, it's fine.
Or there's plenty of boards out there that float great and are even true twin.
But let's theoretically look at it, because like the average days that a snowboarder spends on hill, I believe, is now 7.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably not getting powder days, but if they are, they're probably only getting 2 powder days. How much is it to rent a board for a day? About $50.
$50.
I'd rather just go spend $50 and ride a board, get a
real pow board.
Real pow board.
Yep.
Something I don't have to worry about slamming in, doing it, dealing with having to get longer. That's the other thing. Longer hardware. You're going to need longer hardware because you're raising the board, the binding up, so now it's not threading as much. So you're going to have uneven hardware in your board. So you're going to have shorter hardware in the back and longer hardware in the front. So I don't know. This whole thing is just it perplexes me that people would just create some bullshit like that. Like, why? Why?
Because
don't
you
know.
couldn't lean back.
So I want to know if any of you snowboarders of the internet have bought this thing, because they did sell a few, I guess.
Yeah.
Or did you try to fund this product? Because if you did, I want to punch you.
Get your money back and give it to us.
Yes, we'll take all your monies. In case you haven't gathered from this podcast, we're poor as shit.
It's poor shit. We need your money. Damn it.
Literally couldn't get funding for a car. I have like an 800 credit score. Still couldn't get funding. I need a car. I'm going to own one.